Coming up on News 5 at 10, a place to belong. How one local shelter is helping young people dealing with homelessness find the resources they need.
And it's been hard to find tutors for struggling students during the pandemic, especially those with special needs. How an online service is helping families rebound.
Always watching out for you. This is a First Alert 5 Weather Alert.
And good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us here on News 5 at 10. We're also live right now on your favorite streaming device. I'm Rob Quirk.
And I'm Elizabeth Watts. We are on weather alert tonight with dangerously cold temperatures in much of the area. We want to get right to lead forecaster Mike Daniels with what we can expect.
Elizabeth, it's a good night to be indoors close to the furnace vent. Look at this. In Colorado Springs right now, it's 12 degrees with that very light breeze, creates a serious wind chill. Feels like 4. Pueblo, cold enough without the wind chill. Thankfully, there is no wind chill, but 15. Brutally cold all across the viewing area. Colder wind chills from northern El Paso County up into Teller County. Woodland Park right now, you walk outside, it feels like 1 degree below zero. A couple of leftover flurries out east of the city right now, outside of a stray leftover flake. We're done with the snow across Colorado Springs. Also some flakes out east of Pueblo across the valley. That stuff is going to wrap up here within the next couple of hours. You could get maybe just an additional 1/4 of an inch of snow out across the eastern plains. So here's your bottom line. Those roads are slick now. They're not going to get any better for that AM commute, so allow yourself a lot of extra travel time. Awfully cold tonight, then it's a much deserved warming trend. I'll break that down for you coming up with First Alert 5.
Mike, thanks. All right, take a look at this. Today's winter storm causing several accidents across the state, including a multi-vehicle pileup I-25 south of Loveland. Several cars smashed between semis, as you see. A van on its side straddling that concrete barrier. Pickup truck wedged between the barrier and another semi. Northbound and some southbound lanes were closed for hours. At least 6 people taken to the hospital, conditions unknown. That stretch of the interstate has since reopened.
We already have several school delays for tomorrow, as well as local military installations. You can find all of them on our website, KOAA.com, and by downloading the News 5 app for your Apple or Android device. As we continue our weather alert team coverage, homeless shelters across southern Colorado filling up as temperatures drop to those dangerous levels. And tonight, a closer look at one shelter in particular that helps local teens. As News 5's Aaron Chapman reports, it goes so much further than sheltering the most vulnerable for the night.
The center is called The Place, and it helps youth ages from 15 to 20 find some sort of stability and a place to call their own.
With all of that, we wrap around them with the key things that youth really need to build their stability.
This is so much more than a place to get out of the cold. They also offer educational opportunities, employment, and health programs.
They gain stability in the community, that they know how to reach out to other healthy organizations, or they know how to create healthy relationships in the community.
Executive Director Shauna Kempinen says as of Tuesday, 18 out of the 20 beds were full. Regardless of occupancy, though, the center plans to help whoever is in need.
We don't turn youth away from the perspective of, sorry, there's no room at the inn. We do talk with them if we don't have a bed available. We talk with them about other options,
including conversations about other ways to improve their lives, no matter their life circumstance.
The fact that while young people and others in homelessness can struggle with substance abuse and mental health issues, that's often not the reason that they fell into homelessness.
Kempinen says it's 2 reasons in particular: family conflict and economic issues.
This is really about an economic and a housing issue in the community. And really about relationships and the resources to get people off the street.
Not only does the place offer a roof over their heads, but they also offer a temporary drop-in center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. where they can gather, have a meal, and have conversations with one another. Always watching out for you, Colorado Springs. Aaron Chapman, News 5.
Aaron, thanks. President Biden announcing today a wartime push for delivery of COVID-19 vaccines over the next 3 weeks, promising about a 16% boost in deliveries to states in that time. Governor Polis was on CNN tonight saying the announcement offers a better ability to plan ahead, but more available doses are needed.
It's going to take an awfully long time at these levels to end the pandemic. So this is important because we can protect our most vulnerable.
The White House expects to provide enough doses to vaccinate 300 million Americans by the end of summer or early fall. The administration working to purchase an additional 100 million doses of each of the 2 approved vaccines.
Now to a News 5 Investigates follow-up. Chief investigative reporter Eric Ross was first to uncover a medical mistake made at the Pueblo Mall's COVID-19 clinic. As we first reported a week ago, medical staff injected an elderly woman with an empty syringe instead of the vaccine. Tonight, Eric has reviewed new records, uncovering a second incident at the same clinic just 15 minutes earlier.
Rosalie Pike was accidentally injected with an empty syringe at this COVID-19 vaccination site. We spoke with her granddaughter Jamie after she took her grandmother to get the vaccine.
I'm concerned because this population was 70 and older. I hope it's the only case. My worry is that there might be more.
Public Health Director Randy Evitz so far has ignored repeated requests to talk about vaccine safety distribution protocols. But in a statement issued by his spokesperson, he called what happened to Rosalie an isolated incident at the clinic. But now we've learned about a second incident which once again required the patient to receive a second injection for the first round of the coronavirus vaccine. Here's what we know about both cases. Rosalie was injected with an empty syringe at 10:45 in the morning on January 12th, according to the incident report. Just 15 minutes earlier, same day, same vaccination site, an incident report says a nurse injected another patient and the tube broke off from the hub of the needle, spilling the coronavirus vaccine onto the patient's arm. A second dose was eventually administered, but they are both cases Pueblo's top health director kept hidden from the public until we obtained the reports using open records laws. And according to data provided late last week by the Pueblo Health Department, more than 3,500 vaccines have been given to people 70 and older. And at this point in time, it's important to note that we have no other evidence suggesting any other distribution errors occurred at the Pueblo Mall location. We'll of course stay on top of it. And as always, if you have a problem or issue you'd like our News 5 Investigates team to look into, call our tip line anytime or send an email to news5investigates@koaa.com. Always watching out for you, Southern Colorado. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Eric Ross.
Eric, thanks. Now to our continuing coverage tonight. Colorado's congressional delegation asking President Biden to immediately suspend any action to relocate U.S. Space Command from Colorado Springs to Alabama. In a letter to the president, they believe political consideration influenced the decision in the final days of the Trump presidency, and they want the new administration to look at the national security threat, personnel, the lack of transparency, lack of data that resulted in a process they contend was not fair or impartial. By the way, you can read that entire letter sent to the president at KOAA.com. Watching out for you tonight, we continue to track the frustration many of you have shared with News 5 in not receiving the second COVID stimulus check yet. Now, if you're among them, you can still get that money when you file your 2020 taxes.
If you didn't receive your stimulus, it gives you an additional credit on your tax return. So if your tax return altogether gives you a balance due, it will lower that balance due. If you have a refund, it will increase the refund.
And you can still track your stimulus payment by using the Get My Payment feature on the IRS website.
As we work to rebound from the pandemic, we continue to shine a spotlight on virtual learning and its difficulties, especially when it comes to kids with special needs. So many parents are worried their kids are being left behind. But after our reports, we found out about a Colorado Springs business that helps virtually, meaning they can help families all over. It was quite a whirlwind for Amy Reed and her family when moving from Denver to Charlotte.
We were navigating a new school system, a new town in the middle of the pandemic. It was like a kid on an IEP. I mean, it's like all of the challenges.
Especially for her 8th grader, Owen, who has a cognitive disability. The kids are in hybrid learning now, and he's on an individualized education program, or IEP. Amy says she found virtual tutoring at just the right time.
She really has customized the curriculum and the activities based on what his needs are.
The parents feel so overwhelmed. They don't know what to do with their child. They want specific curriculum or specific aspects to be taught. They just don't know how to get it there.
Ginger Pilitary has been a special education teacher for 21 years and has been doing it virtually the past 3. With her husband by her side here in the Springs, they launched Special Needs Tutors in December.
It's so good to see you this morning.
They're needing those gaps to be bridged between what they're learning in school and what they could be doing and to meet their full potential.
Hey, and that was great recall. I love how you summarized the whole story for me.
She tailors the curriculum to the kids, their diagnoses, and their interests, and pays attention if they're getting antsy, they take some breaks, or mix things up with a game.
Next, can we read about alligators?
Yes, absolutely.
I take data on my students when I work with them and have seen significant gains academically, socially, emotionally with them.
Still, as a whole, Amy worries about the long-term impacts these times will have on our students.
And I think, honestly, the biggest losers in this whole pandemic are our kids, frankly.
But she's thankful she found something to help her child stay on track and says other parents should not hesitate to reach out if they're struggling too. And Special Needs Tutors does free consultations to see if they'd be a fit for your family. They also work to help parents find other resources as well. We have more information and the other stories that I've done on this topic, KOAA.com/rebound. Spotting fake news. It's been a topic for a few years now. Ahead on News 5, how lawmakers are working to help some of the youngest Coloradans understand which sources to trust.
And lots of snow fell across Colorado today, but not every kid got a snow day from school. How some teachers working in a little outdoor fun into that learning.
Wind chills as cold as 5 below zero tonight, but Operation Deep Freeze is almost over. I've got blue sky and a warming trend in your forecast. Everything you need to know after the break. This is News 5 at 10.
And now, your First Alert 5 weather.
It has been a storm of epic proportions in the San Juan Mountains. That's the Wolf Creek ski area. They are in the steep and deep. Listen to this. 45 inches of champagne powder just in the past 4 days. Great skiing and great for water concerns across southwestern Colorado as well. Outside, we're live in downtown Colorado Springs. Tejon looking okay, but most of the roads across Colorado Springs and the Pikes Peak region slick and icy. Allow yourself plenty of extra travel time. The wind chill right now is 4 degrees above zero. Bundle up if you have to get out. Pueblo, no wind chill. It's cold enough without it. 15 is your current temperature. Live look, Monument Hill. Smooth sailing up and down the hill right now. Thank you, CDOT. I-25 in real good shape from Monument Hill all the way down to the New Mexico line. Got a couple of leftover snowflakes out across far rural eastern El Paso County. We're dry along the I-25 corridor. We will stay dry for the rest of the night. Drier air starting to punch in from northwest to southeast. Flurries out east of Pueblo across the valley. That stuff is probably going to stick around for another hour or two, shrink in intensity as that drier air starts to punch in. In the Springs, most neighborhoods landed 2 to 3 inches with this round of snow. Pueblo 1 to 2 inches. The big stuff from Security into Woodland Park, 6 inches of much needed snow. Remember, we had a grass fire on the west side of Colorado Springs last week, so that moisture helping to mitigate that ever-present fire danger. High pressure filling in behind the storm system tomorrow. That will bring sunny skies most of the day for most of us, and it's going to be warmer. Temps tomorrow 5 to 10 degrees warmer than what we had around here today. With that upslope flow, I think you'll start with low clouds and fog tomorrow morning from Pueblo east out to the Kansas border. Plenty of sunshine across most parts of the Pikes Peak region, but even by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, still going to be cold with temperatures well below the freezing mark. We will defrost nicely during the afternoon hours with highs into the mid-30s. Pueblo, a cold day today, 27. That's 20 degrees colder than where you should be this time of the year. In the Springs out at the airport, a little over a tenth of an inch of moisture. 22, best we could do for that afternoon high temperature today. Outside right now, these are updated 10 o'clock temps here on News 5. Just painfully cold out there with temperatures into the teens. On the thermometer tonight, dropping to 2 degrees in both Colorado Springs and Pueblo. Wind chills as cold as 5 below at times. Tomorrow, you'll need something over your head when you walk out the door. Dress in layers if you're really sensitive to the cold. But then by mid-afternoon, there you go. Afternoon highs warming nicely. Not a heat wave, but it is a step in the right direction. And take a look at Thursday and Friday. Man, that's going to feel awfully nice, almost like a day at the beach compared to the past few days around here. Tracking a weak storm that will knock us back a little over the weekend. Mountains will get snow, but it'll be dry here across the plains and staying very comfortable Monday into Tuesday. I am tracking a new storm with some potential for next Wednesday into next Thursday. It's a long way off, but I wanted to give you the first alert on that. Pueblo hang tough tonight and tomorrow morning. There's a pattern change on the way. Downslope flow kicks in with a lot of melting Thursday and Friday. Little hiccup over the weekend with slightly cooler air, breezy on Saturday, then quite comfortable Monday into Tuesday with that mild downslope flow kicking in. Canyon City, the Chinook, is the main player for you over the next several days. Look at those temperatures, warm And the Chinook is an Indian word. That means snow eater, and that snow is going to be long gone by Friday. A mellow pattern at least through next Tuesday. Woodland Park, sunshine and melting in your forecast. Look at those temperatures grow. Everyone looks forward to Friday, but there's extra incentive this week with the big 5-0 in your forecast. That'll feel awfully nice. February starts on Monday. It will start dry and mild. Elizabeth?
Mike, thanks. In your school watch tonight, with all the snow across southern Colorado today, some school districts decided to cancel class altogether, but not all of them. With so many e-learning options available now, snow days look a bit different for the kiddos. The biggest districts around here, D11, 20, 49, they asked most, if not all of their students to attend school virtually, but some teachers found ways to work some outdoor fun into the lesson.
One of the teachers I just recently spoke to today, she's developing assignments where she takes them and says, go outside and I want you to find these elements for our assignment, or go spend 30 minutes and I want you to reconnect in nature and we're going to bring it back to this science talk.
Middle and high school students in D20 had an e-learning day. Elementary students got the day off, mostly because the state requires secondary students to be in class more hours each year. The district wanted to avoid making up those hours later. And for today's KOAA digital survey, we asked if you think school districts should replace snow days with e-learning. As we take a look at the results, the majority of you are saying no. These kids, they deserve their snow days. You can join the conversation each day by voting in the survey, KOAA.com, or on our app, and you can visit our KOAA 5 Facebook page.
Always watching out for you. This is National Media Literacy Week, and it can be hard to navigate what is real, what is fake, what's misleading on social media in particular, and it's particularly important for our kids to understand what's happening and why. So state lawmakers are working to pass legislation that would include media literacy in the curriculum moving forward. News 5's Mayo Davison with a closer look tonight.
It all started in 2019 with the introduction of House Bill 1110, a bill that would create an online resource bank of materials on media literacy.
I ran that piece of legislation, and it created a really robust committee of advisors. And I was, to gather best practices and look at the situation basically and create a report.
As mandated by the bill, the Media Literacy Advisory Committee was created to come up with a list of recommendations that would help improve media literacy education in elementary and secondary schools.
Right now, media literacy is taught here and there. It might be if a journalism class is offered. It might appear in a social studies or a language arts class.
I think it's critical in these times that students are able to access information, to analyze information, and to critically evaluate information.
Marilyn Saltzman and Zeb Carabello are both educators who are a part of the advisory committee. Some of the key recommendations: revisions to reading, writing, and civic standards to include media literacy, and best practices for school districts to develop policy and procedures.
We want them to look at what is this media organization? Who are they? What's their mission? What's their purpose? Who is their audience?
Paxton Decker, a former Grandview High School student, was among the few students chosen to be a part of the committee.
What I wanted was a class plan, a class, some sort of program, something that they were actually going to be putting in schools to reach real students.
Decker said he wanted a plan that would touch on a lot of different areas of media literacy and encourage student involvement.
I liked the online space, and I also liked the sort of, the policies for teachers. I think it's a great supplemental, and that's why, I really wanted that to sort of aid in something that would take up actual class time.
While the bill passed at the Colorado General Assembly, when the pandemic hit in March, it was tabled to make way for legislation focused on helping those impacted by COVID-19. This year, a new version of the bill will be reintroduced.
I think it's a really good, strong bill, and I think it'll get through because I think now more than ever, we're seeing what happens when misinformation is spread around and people think it's facts, and it's not.
Those on the committee say the bill would have a huge impact on the children of Colorado.
There's been some research that students actually are more likely to vote and be good citizens if they are media literate and they know how to read and analyze and get the information they need.
School districts will have about 2 years to adjust curriculum to fit the new standards. Always watching out for you, Southern Colorado. Mayo Davison, News 5.
Coming up next in sports, when Team USA Boxing needed a new home to train for the upcoming Tokyo Olympics, they went shopping. Where did they land? Dylan has the story after the break.
Make this.
Good evening, everyone. When USA Boxing needed a new training center, they only had to read the wanted ads. Inside this old Macy's, a new lease on life as America's best prepare for this summer's games in Tokyo. It's a scene out of a classic boxing movie. A humble exterior giving way to America's heart and soul just through the doors.
It's great to be back in an actual ring, training, sparring. With everything going on.
Needing a place to hit the ring with the Olympic Training Center still in COVID-19 protocols, Team USA Boxing took a creative jab, turning this former Macy's at the Citadel Mall into their new headquarters.
It looks good, it looks okay. It's doing the business for us. We got rings, we got bags, we got floor space. That's all we need. And all we need is the integrity and the drive and the spirit of the athletes to give us the quality in training.
First, I wasn't sure what to expect, but once we got in there and there's 4 rings in there, like our whole strength and conditioning setup, it's actually like a really nice setup.
A year after their dreams were knocked out, the nation's best have returned to Colorado Springs. 6 months out of realizing their dream to compete at the Olympic Games.
I feel like I never lost the motivation because, like, the Olympics, like most of us been dreaming about this since we started boxing at like 8-9 years old. So this is like a dream come true.
With the games still on schedule, newfound life and hope for these talented athletes of the red, white, and blue, and their new home away from home.
We can cry and whinge and moan and say that, oh, we don't have this and we don't have that. But look, we can make the most of what we got. At the end of the day, it's about the work, the hard work and the effort that we put in.
We're ready, we're focused, and we're training hard to beat everyone in the world, so we're coming.
Love the confidence right there. All right, the only show on the hardwood tonight, thanks to Mother Nature. UCCS looking for their 3rd straight win, taking on Regis to the Gallagher Event Center, where RMAC Player of the Week Elijah Comethier was ready to go pick it up first half action. Jezza McKenzie, the freshman, 4-3 swish. Then Comethier down low in the post. Of course, he led the team with 25 on the night. Back outside we go. Jeff Kelly in the corner. Gonna drill this. Mountain Lions up 5 early. Regis, they're gonna respond. Troy Brady 18 on the night, including this triple. 12 lead changes. Lions continue to claw away. Patrick Lanapek in the nice cut and slam. UCCS up 8 at half, but can hold it in a 74-69 loss. After going 500 on the road, the Avalanche back home to take on those Sharks. Colorado red hot in the first with 3 goals on the power play. Nathan McKinnon, the sauce to Mikko Rantanen, lights the lamp for his 6th straight game, 3-1 after 1. In the second, Avs, yes, skating away with it. The tic-tac-toe passing ends with Brandon Saad's 2nd of the night. Avalanche back over 500, 7-3, your final score. And baseball has spoken. There will be no new members to the Hall of Fame. Curt Schilling, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, all falling short of that 75% vote needed. As for the Rockies legend Larry Walker, he's already a lock next summer in Cooperstown. And that is Look at Sports. We'll be right back.
At Colorado Springs.
Hottest thing in town tonight will be your electric blanket. I'm cranking mine up to about extra crispy when I get home tonight. 2 degrees for the overnight low in both the Springs and Pueblo. Wind chills as cold as 5 below zero. Snow has ended in the Springs. A few leftover flurries out east, but make no mistake, roads will be slick and icy. All the untreated roads, the side streets, very slick and icy tomorrow morning. If you have to travel through that commute tomorrow morning, 3 things to remember: extra time, extra room, and extra patience, guys.
Thank you, Mike. After taking a break for Halloween and Christmas, seasonal themed peeps coming back for Easter. Just Born, who makes the marshmallow treats, suspended production to protect workers from coronavirus.
So they're marshmallow, really? I always wondered what they were made out of. Little joke there, everybody. After implementing safety measures, it resumed limited production in May, but did not produce seasonal candy so it could meet demand for Easter. The brand tweeted today.
Tweet.
I get it, yep. We are back, everybody, and ready for Easter.
What's sad is, you know, I'm not into Peeps, but if they're around, I'll still eat them.
You know, I think
Festive.
sugar keeps you warm, doesn't it?
It keeps you warm, keeps you awake.
Right?
Thanks
See
for
you tomorrow.
watching.